I think you are misunderstanding the argument. This is not an argument of the absence of evidence. Yeah, is a proof of its absence or anything like this. You know how it goes. I'm saying you have within your New Testament a particular author saying during the time of crucifixion of Christ that the graves of the saints were opening up. They appeared from their tomb and they walked towards the city and they appeared to multiple of people. I am saying that this event is an extraordinary event in which people were talking about it to their friends and families and children and everywhere. Everyone will be talking about it. Imagine now you witness this event and it's your grandfather. You will be talking about it to your children and your whole family. You will be, if you are a historian, you'll be writing about it. Why is it that no one, no Jewish historian, no Roman historian, no pagan historian, no Christian historian or gospel writer recorded this event? Only Matthew. And I gave you, please, and I gave you a scenario by saying, let me repeat that again so that you visualize it. You see this park, how it's busy with people, right? Not everyone is illiterate here. Not everyone is incapable of recording this event if an event were to happen. If a dinosaur came up from the ground, a living dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex, it's a huge, right? A huge creature, and started walking around, running around, for half an hour. And in that process, it may be, stampeding a lot of people, whatever, right? And it went that way at the end. Naturally, we would expect a lot of people to record this event, talk about this event, transmit this information about this event. If we find you are the only person who writes about it in the press called Christian Believer Press, the newspaper, and no one else writes about it, talks about it, people in general will dismiss your account. Do you know why they will dismiss it? Because event of this magnitude is expected to be recorded, transmitted by a lot of people. So when Matthew is the only one recording such an event of multiple resurrection, not one person rising from the dead as you believe in Christ, multiple people coming out of their graves alive, walking, and then appearing to many people. No historian mentions this. Jewish, Christian, pagan, even other gospel writers. So please, would you like to tell me why no one else mentions this?
I've explained why the other gospel writers didn't write it.
Why?
Because we know that they travelled with the Apostle Paul. Mark and Luke travelled with the Apostle Paul, missionary journeys to other places.
So they are not aware of this event?
It's written in Acts, the book of Acts, that Mark and Luke accompanied Paul on his missionary journeys. So
I'm asking you...
They weren't in Jerusalem all the time.
Now, a simple question. Are you saying during the time of their compilation of their book, the Gospel,
yes,
they were not aware of this event taking place?
They may not have been there.
I didn't say they were being there or not. Luke was an eyewitness. He's getting information from people. Yeah? So were these authors informed about this event?
Mark and Luke, Matthew was in Jerusalem. He has a Jewish gospel. He recorded an event that happened in Jerusalem. I just explained the reason why it wasn't recorded in the other gospels is a probability that the other apostles, were not there.
You see, you're missing the point.
And
I'm not saying they're physically there, because they're getting information from people, second-hand, third-hand sources. Like Luke doesn't have anything as a primary witness. He's getting from people who has perhaps seen or heard. He himself hasn't observed anything. He hasn't seen anything. So have the other gospel writers been informed about this event? So basically the evidence is they haven't been informed. While such an event should have been recorded, why are the Greek historians like Josephus, Jewish historians, Josephus was a Jew, right? Why were they silent about this? Which is more fantastic and miraculous? The resurrection of one individual, or resurrection of various individuals from a time
The
past.
difference is that they died. The ones that came
No,
up.
which is more miraculous?
Jesus is alive, and he
Please,
stays alive.
please.
He stays alive.
Which is more miraculous? Someone being supposedly dead for about 3 days and 3 nights, supposedly, questionable, or someone who was already dead and graves opening up and they were dead for God knows how long, and they then appeared to various people. Which is more miraculous?
Jesus died and rose again, and he is alive. The ones that appeared to the many in Jerusalem appeared for a time, and then they eventually died.
I didn't ask you about this one. The question I'm asking is, someone who is supposedly dead for 3 days and 3 nights, compared to someone who's been dead for decades maybe, their bodies coming up, who knows whether the bodies have only skeletal or flesh within the skeleton.
We don't know how long they've been
We
dead.
don't know, like zombies or not, right? They're appearing to various people. Imagine people who saw their grandfather, their grandmother, their father, their mother, their neighbor coming up and appearing to many, and then they're going back to death again, whatever. Which is more miraculous? If you are a sincere person, which you are, you would have to admit the miraculous aspect is the resurrection of those zombies, these dead saints.
Because they die again.
It's not about they're dying again, but the actual event. Okay. What is more miraculous? A Tyrannosaurus Rex coming up from the ground or a mouse? Which is more miraculous?
I'll give you the first one.
A dinosaur. Yeah? So what is more miraculous? Someone that has been just put into the ground and someone who's been dead for years. Do you know there are many cases, we know, people thought they're actually dead and they buried them, and then eventually like, oh, I'm not dead yet, they come up, right? There are many examples, because they were not actually dead, they're maybe in a state of a coma or whatever. Which is miraculous? Someone who's been dead for decades, rotten flesh perhaps, and someone who's supposedly dead for 3 days and 3 nights.
The miraculous thing part about Jesus dying and rising from the dead is that it was prophesied 600 years before he was.
You're not engaging with the gravity of the comparison. You're saying it's prophesied. It's not about prophecy. Which is more miraculous event? If you saw yourself these events, you would say, oh, it's just dead zombies, from 20 years ago. Yeah, you would be just dismissing like that, would you?
We don't know how long they've been dead.
You know what? It's like this. Okay, let me give you the whole scenario exactly like for like. So graves are opening up in Hyde Park, here in this park, and dead bodies coming up. Dead bodies coming up from this ground, and they walk around, and they're just going to people, who are you? Because they think, oh, what is this? Maybe they're dead for 500 years. What is this? Excuse me, listen. Imagine now they're speaking, and they're wondering, what's that noise coming so loud? They have no concept of a loudspeaker. These people who are appearing to many, these dead people, you and I will go home and we would not even talk about it. We would not open up our social media and say, you know what I witnessed today? You would not put that in your Twitter, in your Instagram, in your Facebook, nothing. You would just simply say, did anything happen to the Speaker's Corner? Nah, nothing. Nothing special. Do you really think this is how people will behave? My friend, is this how you will behave?
I'm saying there wasn't a lot of stuff written down at that time, okay?
Sorry, would you behave like that? You'll go home and you would not even talk to your family. You'd say, nothing happened in Speaker's Corner today. Or would you tell your family and friends and you start, phoning up everyone, you know what, something special happened in Speaker's Corner. People were dead. Skeleton came up on the ground and they started walking. I mean, I thought, is it a magic or not? But actually then we realized they're really dead people. You would not stop from talking for a while.
Maybe it was written down, but maybe we don't have a record of it.
No, please. Don't say it was written down. We haven't got any information. Nothing. This is why honest historians will admit Matthew is just exaggerating here. This is a genre of writing autobiography of people, and Matthew is simply exaggerating of the events. It's not a historical event. We can accept that these people are writing an embellishment is provided for that story. Make it look nice. but not his. Just like John, do you not agree? The Gospel of John, whoever the John is, he is writing about the historical figure, but writing things that really didn't happen. He's putting his own words in the mouth of Jesus, for example. Because they think, oh, what is this? Maybe they're dead for 500 years. What is this? You know, excuse me, listen. Imagine now they're speaking and they're wondering, what's that noise coming so loud? They have no question of a loudspeaker. These people who are appearing to many, these dead people, you and I will go home and we would not even talk about it. We would not open up our social media and say, oh, you know what I witnessed today? You would not put that in your Twitter, in your Instagram, in your Facebook, nothing. You would just simply say, did anything happen to the Speaker's Corner? Nah, nothing. Nothing special. Do you really think this is how people will behave? My friend, is this how you will behave?
I'm saying there wasn't a lot of stuff written down at the time.
Sorry, would you behave like that? You'll go home and you would not even talk to your family. You'd say, nothing happened in Speaker's Corner today. Or would you tell your family and friends and you start, phoning up everyone, you know what, something special happened in Speaker's Corner. People were dead. Skeleton came up on the ground and they started walking. I mean, I thought, is it a magic or not? But actually then we realized they're really dead people. You would not stop from talking for a while.
Maybe it was written down, but maybe we don't have a record of it.
No, please. Don't say it was written down. We haven't got any information. Nothing. This is why honest historians will admit Matthew is just exaggerating here. This is a genre of writing autobiography of people, and Matthew is simply exaggerating of the events. It's not a historical event. We can accept that these people are writing an embellishment is provided for that story. Make it look nice, but not his. Just like John, do you not agree? The Gospel of John, whoever the John is, he is writing about the historical figure, but writing things that really didn't happen. He's putting his own words in the mouth of Jesus, for example. Not historical Jesus. It's a theological Jesus of John. So this is one of the reasons, I'm sure you know, the Gospel of John is not called a synoptic gospel. Yeah? Yeah. Because it doesn't align with the teaching, the information that we find in the three other Gospels. Yes. So now, why should we trust the Gospel of Matthew when Matthew seems to be exaggerating, making things up? Why?
The point is, it said, Matthew mentions it, and Mark and Luke don't mention it. I'm just explaining to you.
I'm saying no one else mentions it.
I'm saying, okay.
No one else.
Okay, they weren't there.
From that,
They weren't there.
I mean, it doesn't matter if they weren't there. Luke wasn't there.
Okay, so
Yeah. So if Luke wasn't there, but he's talking about other things in the events of life of Christ, why isn't he highlighting this important event, resurrection of many other dead people?
The essential thing at the time was that Christ was raised.
You see, I know it's difficult for you to digest it. I know it's difficult for you to not reject the Gospel of Matthew. I know it's difficult. But when we give a cumulative case, one after the other, Matthew is inventing, distorting, he is making things up. Okay, let me give you some examples. Matthew writes in the very beginning, in his Gospel, that these are the generations from Abraham to David, from David to the exile to Babylon, from this to Christ. 14 generations, all the generations are 14, and 14 and 14. 3 lots of 14 generations. Blatantly false.
What do you mean 14 generations? Say that again, sorry.
Do you have the Bible? I'll show it to you.
Well, I have it on my phone, yes.
Yeah, bring it up. Very beginning of Matthew.
Okay, these are the generations from
No, if you open up.
the captivity into Babylon.
Yeah.
Remember, there's many versions of the Bible.
Sorry?
There's many versions of the Bible.
No. Choose any version of the Bible, and we want to show you where Matthew is making a claim. A historical claim, when we know this is historically false. First page of the Gospel of Matthew has false information of history. The very first page. And if you go to the second and third and so on, and keep on reading his Gospels, your confidence in Matthew goes down and down to the point that Matthew is untrustworthy, unreliable.
Okay.
So if you...
Abraham, Isaac, Judas.
No, carry on to the point where he says, here. Here.
14 generations.
Sorry. Slowly.
Okay.
No, this you've gone past. Not Matthew 2. Go to Matthew 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Go slowly.
Okay.
Yeah. Carry on. Carry on. Here. So read this verse 17 for me, please.
So all generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David until the carrying away into captivity are 14 generations. And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations.
So what's he saying? So all the generations from these 3 time periods are 14, 14 and 14, yeah? Not some generations, all the generations.
Well, we have to look into what the Greek is saying.
Go on,
We
please.
have to look into the word.
Press the Greek word. You've got it there. Press it, please.
Well, it needs to be actually Greek text as well. To understand it. You need to look
Do
at
whatever you want.
Greek text.
Do whatever you want. The word all, does the word all mean some? It tells you there, all the generations. Find a translation which says it's not all.
Okay, we're looking at Greek text.
So what is this first page of Matthew which has the historical untruth?
There are 14 generations and 14 and 14, 3 lots of 14 generations of the genealogy that he's presenting.
Right. And that's not true.
It's historically false.
Okay, historically false. Were they more or less?
There were more.
No.
Okay? So find whether all means all or it doesn't mean all.
Where was it, verse 17, was it?
Verse 17.
Well, therefore the generations from Adam to David were
What does it mean? Pasai? So the Greek word is pasai.
the whole, every kind
Can
of.
you repeat that again what it means? All, every.
Whole, every kind of.
Yeah, all of them, not some of them, all of them.
Every kind of.
Yeah, all of them.
Every.
That means not part of them, all of them. All and every. See, look, all, every, all things.
All kinds.
All, every single one. In fact, if you were to read this, look, this is NASB.
Yeah, okay.
All, every, everyone.
Let's see where it says it means in Matthew. All, any, everyone. That's not Matthew.
All.
That's not Matthew. We wouldn't see Matthew 1.
Yeah. Look at the Greek word pasai, whether it means not all. So does this all mean all then?
We're looking. The Greek, as you know, is very difficult to translate into English.
So have any of the translations of the Bible in English translated differently than all? Did they say some?
Greek is difficult to translate into English. That's why I'm saying we should look at the Greek text.
Yeah, I'm saying, with this difficulty in mind, as you say, have any of the translators translated the all as some?
I don't know, I'm just looking.
You can read it. All the translation in Bible Hub.
So it's all. Okay, all.
You're still saying all.
Glory to the Lord Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the Lord of Lords, the King.
Okay, all, any, everyone. That's in Matthew 3. And other verses. Any and every kind.
That means any of every, not just any of some.
Matthew 1 here.
No, it doesn't mean any of some, it means any of everything. So whatever kind you have, it means all of that kind. So when he says between X and Y there are 14 generations, he doesn't mean some between X and Y, he means all of it. So now within the very first page of Matthew, we have a big problem of historically false information.
We have found Matthew 1 here. Just a minute. Everything, any whatsoever.
Holy, altogether, all things.
Yes.
Yeah. In all respects, all
We
things.
haven't found Matthew 1 yet.
No, we're looking at the meaning of the word, right?
The lexicon. If I can't find this for you now, I'll write to you the answer.
No, it's okay. Go back to the translations and see whether the translated not all of them, but some of them.
Give me your address, I'll write to you.
No, I'm not going to get your writing. I'm going to do it myself here. So that
You show me them.
yeah, because you are not willing to.
Specifically relates to Matthew 1 though.
No, not Matthew 1. We're not talking about Matthew 1. We're talking about Matthew 1:17.
1:17.
So 1:17,
Where specifically
which translator has translated? It means partially. Some of them. Would you like to show me that? Matthew 1.
I've been looking, okay? If you can find it quicker, then I'll be happy. You're recording all this,
Yes, so that people will learn and benefit from it.
but it'll be edited to show your side of it. You'll be edited to
We
show,
want people to learn from these exchanges that yes, whether Matthew indeed.
You'll be edited to show your...
Excuse me. Now you're bringing accusations. Editing. How many cameras are recording?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
In this age, you're saying people will edit it out when multiple cameras are recording. Some of them may be
we don't
recording
do-
live.
I know some people do. Okay, if you're not...
So
you don't-
please,
you don't-
this is a very lame excuse.
Okay.
When you can't make an argument, you're saying you will edit it out.
All right, okay, all right, okay.
Okay, it's not coming through for some reason. Maybe my internet is not working. So can you show me from this, and we will end there this discussion.
Okay,
In the translations in Bible Hub, which translations of the New Testament says some generations, not all generations?
this is what I'm looking
As far as I've seen before, it talks about all the generations, which is historically false, giving us a confidence that Matthew is not reliable. I'm surprised you can't find it there because you're not looking for it. Why don't you look for the translation that I'm asking you to do?
I'm looking for the translation.
You're looking for your support elsewhere and you can't find it.
To Matthew 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it another way.
So you're not willing to share with us the translations.
I'm giving up.
So you're going to do it now, yeah?
I'm going to look for another way.
Why don't you do that first and then do it another way?
But I'm sure there is a valid explanation to the point that you're raising. Okay, but
Why are you not willing to show me and go through the... No, you're on the website. From this website, pull up the multiple translations in English.
if I can find it
Yeah?
in Greek, we need
Sorry.
Greek, because it doesn't-
In English. We've seen the Greek. It says pasai.
Yeah, okay.
So let's see how competent scholars of biblical translation have translated this word.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. So if you now go to one by one, go to ESV, NSV, NIV.
Too long, I haven't got time for that.
Yeah.
I haven't got time to do all that.
You haven't got time to all that. Okay. Excuse me, brother. Come here. Do you have the phone that I can use? My internet's playing up. Okay. So if you type in Matthew 1:17 Bible Hub.
Matthew 1.
17. Basically Matthew 1:17. 17 and type in space after space and Bible Hub. Yeah. For some reason here, the internet became very slow.
I have a Bible on my...
No. I need this particular specifically for a reason. Do you have multiple translations?
Yes, just a second.
How many translations?
No, just a second. It's
That's why. That's why.
It's here.
Okay, thank you. Now,
Today, the internet is playing today.
even yours is slow for a
It's
reason.
long, yeah. But it will come. It will come.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just checking it.
He's got it working, but he's not willing to share it.
I can't find it, that's why. No, I'm not going to share it.
Okay, I've got it here. Got it here for you. NIV. Thus, there were 14 generations in all. Wow, that's blatantly clear.
That's the NIV. We're looking for Greek. We're looking for Greek.
Sorry, we've seen the Greek. It says Pasai, and it's been translated as all, even in the lexicon that you had pulled up earlier. Now we want to see whether every other translation says all or parts. New Living Translation, all those listed above include 14 generations, all. So all the generations from Abraham to David, English Standard
There's
Version.
obviously a problem with the Greek. That's why.
Berean Study Bible, in all them, there were 14 generations.
Yeah.
Berean Literal Bible, so all the generations from Abraham. Again, all. New American Standard Bible, so all the generations from Abraham to David. Again, all. King James Bible, so all the generations from Abraham to David. Christian Standard Bible, so all the generations from Abraham to David. Contemporary English Version, there were 14 generations from Abraham to David. There were also 14 from Abraham to David. So it doesn't even say anything. Just simply says there are 14. Good News Translation, so then there were 14 generations from Abraham to David. So it tells you exactly the exact number, all, not part. Holman Christian Standard Bible, so all the generations from Abraham to David. International Standard Version, so all the generations. Net Bible, so all the generations. New Heart English Bible, so all the generations. American Bible in plain English, therefore all generations from Abraham until David. Do you need to carry on? I don't think we need to. So point is made, the word is there, pasai, and in your Greek lexicon in Bible Hyde it says all. The translators consistently translated as meaning all. So now we have Matthew saying that there were 14 generations from this point, 14 from this point, and 14 from that point, which we know to be absolutely historically false, giving us the confidence to reject Matthew as a historically authentic, reliable, trustworthy book.
No,
sorry, we
not
have.
at all. Threefold state of the Jews, first under the patriarchs, then under the prophets, and then under the kings, and then under the priests.
How many generations from Abraham to David, according to Matthew?
14.
14, some,
So
or all of them?
The patriarchs, yeah?
No. According to Matthew, between Abraham and David, all the generations, the number is 14, which is false. There are more than 14.
Oh, so you're disputing, that's what you're disputing, is it?
I'm not disputing, I can tell you. If you go to chapter 1 Chronicles 3:16, it lists you the names that he's referring to. And there, he's omitting a name, say for example, I'll highlight one example. He's omitting the name of Jehoiakim, who was the son of Josiah, and he makes Jehoiakim, takes him away, doesn't list him, and he puts his children, Jeconiah, as the son of Josiah. So basically you have a grandfather, father, and children. He takes the father away and makes the children the son of the grandfather. The reason he does that, because in Jeremiah 6:30, if I'm not mistaken, this Jehoiakim has been cursed by God, that he will have no one to sit on the throne of David, him or his descendants. So if Matthew had Jehoiakim in the genealogy, it's like shooting yourself on the foot. Why? Because Matthew wants to make Jesus the son of David. That's his thesis. So if God cursed Jehoiakim that he will have no one to sit on the throne of David, and he's in the genealogy of Jesus, then Jesus by definition cannot be the son of David. So he takes him away. Not only Matthew is being dishonest, as it's been shown here, but he gives you historically distorted information. More reason to totally discredit this book.
Right.
Do you have anything to say in response?
There is an answer. Okay, it doesn't come to me readily, and I can answer your question. But I need to look at to research it. I've heard this
You had lots of weeks to research, and you've come back. When did we last time we talk about this?
About
Month ago.
Okay.
So in month ago you came back and you found me to talk about it, and now still you want more time to research? No problem.
It's a different issue.
No
Okay?
problem. No
It's a
problem.
different issue, okay?
No problem. Please go and research.
Okay.
Please go and research. Take your time,
But,
and we talk about perhaps another time. But as far as it stands now, looking at historical accounts before the Gospel of Matthew and looking at the Gospel of Matthew itself, it's quite clear to us that Matthew is making statements which are not true. Yeah? That's my claim from my reading. But perhaps you can tell me otherwise when you do come with your research.
Okay, well, if I don't come back, which I might not do because I might be going away.
Whenever.
Okay, but I will write you the answer if you'd like to give me some details.
Sure. I can provide you the emails and then...
Give me your email now.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. No problem. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.